Thanks for tuning in today to the Bible Prepper. Hey, I got a very important information to you about water. Water is like going to be very scarce, and I got it figured out because I'm like in a desert arid area where almost everybody's water comes from wells, which do require electricity or power to get that water from deep in the ground up to the surface. And I'm foreseeing, without any question, there's 100% accuracy, I can tell you. EMP is being planned. There's never been a society so dependent upon this technology that we are dependent upon today. And so here's what I know. They're going to take down the power grid because anytime you buy a computer, they tell you plug it into a surge protector cord because computers all have sensitive microprocessors, little chips in them and stuff that can be damaged by a power surge, and we know that. So all the power surge is coming through the EMP, through the airwaves, going to damage all computer chips, being cell phones, ATM banking machines, all internet, all power grid, all automobiles, trucks, semi-trucks, airplanes in the sky, whatever. The EMP hits, it destroys every single chip in all the computers, and everything shuts down. It's going to be completely paralyzed country for months. And a lot of people are not going to be able to handle this, but one of the most important things you do want to have is water. So whether you're on a city water system where the city well pumps don't run, or you're on a well on a ranch or on your own property, this is what I have come up with, a plan to have water 24/7 without running a generator. What you do is you acquire for yourself through whatever, go to any farm tractor supply store. You can buy a big black poly tanks of different sizes that'll hold water, and you call it a cistern, where you have a 1,000 or I have a 6,500 gallon tank on my property, big dark green poly tank. Some people have them for, places have them for fire suppression in case of fire. Anyway, supply of water. And then what you do with that water tank full of fresh water, you get yourself a 12-volt RV pump and hook it to a deep cycle rechargeable 12-volt battery. It could even be a regular battery, and you put a little solar panel connected to the battery to keep it charged, mounted on a piece of plywood or whatever. And you run from that water tank through the 12-volt RV pump to the hose bib on your house. You shut off the main water supply valve at the house. Now your water lines are isolated, and the little 12-volt RV pump will power up, pressure up. And so like when you're in an RV and you turn on the kitchen faucet, you hear the little RV pump going, and you shut the faucet off and it goes, and it pressures up. It's called an on-demand pump. That pump will have all the water lines in your house pressurized, but it's not running. It just maintains that pressure until you open a valve, flush a toilet, or whatever you do. But you'll have water 24/7 as long as your water tank is full, and even until it goes down and gets low. Then you make a plan how to get your tank refilled. If you have a well, you start a generator, hook it up, and run the generator for an hour or 2 hours to fill the tank back up. Then shut the generator off, save the fuel, and then you can maybe do that once a week or however long you're going to be using your water ultra conservatively at that time. And if you don't have, if you're on city water, then you're going to have to get a tank, some way to haul water to your property occasionally, even if it's a horse and buggy or whatever. But you got water, and you can make water last a long time. So a 2,500 gallon tank, then you get, that's 10 gallons of water a day for 250 days. That's it can last you a long time. At any rate, your toilet will flush. You can put on a pot of beans or rice or whatever you got to cook. And you want to have extra propane. You want to have the fuel. It's the energy. The food, and cold and hungry is what you don't want to be. And water is necessary. And this is a really good, logical, economical plan. Not that expensive to get a big plastic tank. Get a $100 12-volt RV pump, 12-volt pump that works 24/7. It only works when you open a valve. And it keeps you in water 24/7 without any fossil fuel, no generator running. Save your fuel. Fuel's going to be scarce. Water's going to be scarce. Food's going to be scarce. Isaiah 33 says highways will be deserted. There'll be no travelers on the road. I think it's Isaiah 3 says the Lord's going to cut off all support and all supplies of food and water on a single day. It's EMP. Everywhere the scriptures are describing fits this EMP scenario. And I actually heard the daughter of Soleimani at her father's funeral addressing an estimated crowd of 1 million Iranians, saying at that funeral, what the United States has done to my father, they will pay, revenge must happen, that dark days are coming on them. We will flatten their spider web. So flattening of the spider web, that is EMP. Grid down. I just collect all this information. It all fits. It keeps adding to the evidence. This is what's coming, because like the song Stand By Me. And when the night has come and all the land is dark and the moon is the only light you see, will you stand by me? Will you be afraid? I go, you know what? That's talking about EMP right there. Another one is Sound of Silence. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Come to speak with you again. A vision planted in my brain while I was sleeping still remains. He couldn't forget about it, so he wrote a song about it. Paul Simon. He's standing under the halo of a street light, middle of the night. Street light showing on in the middle of the night. It's a night attack. It all fits accurately the prophecies. And then it says, my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. Everything will become silent. And he still goes on to say, hear my words, I might teach you, but my words are like silent raindrops falling. Nobody hears them. Nobody's listening. Talks about the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls. Anyway, that song's prophetic, as is American Pie. Drove my Chevy to levee, levees dry, no water. 10 million degree balls of fire evaporate all the water in the levees. Ezekiel 7:16 says, all who survive and escape flee to the mountains. But these good old boys drove their Chevy to the levee, which is down by the sea, and guess what? They went in the wrong direction. So they're drinking whiskey and rye. They're singing, this will be the day that we die, because they already understand the delayed effect of the massive amounts of radiation that has already bombarded their bodies is lethal. They're going to die. They're singing, this will be the day that we die. And it's an intelligent action, is to go get the whiskey and the rye, get as wasted and as inebriated as possible in order to ease the pain of your passing. Bye-bye, American Pie. American Pie is going away. We're the tree falling in Babylon. The 7 years of drought and famine are upon us. The massive supply chain is real. You got to have water. So I'm explaining to you how you can be fine. You're not going to be where the war zone is. That's going to be in the coastal. If you're anywhere near a mountain, if you have any higher elevation and sea level above sea level, mountains are all described in elevation above sea level. Get high. Go high. Head for the hills. Godly instructions, this is the time. So I'm wanting you to not be out of water. Water is very important. And get yourself a cistern, fill it up, have a couple thousand gallons, 2,500 gallons, or like me, I got a 6,500 gallon tank. I only bought it for $1,000. It was used, but it's still good. Anyway, it does cost money to be prepared, but what's your life worth? Sell your retirement. It says on the day the Lord comes, the rich men will weep and howl, for in 1 hour all their wealth is gone. I started to realize, picture some Silicon Valley millionaire who made computer programs or something, sold and made a lot of money. He goes down to the Starbucks, sits by the beach watching the babes going by in bikinis on bicycles or whatever, and he's having his caramel macchiato latte and he's got his laptop, he's got his gold Rolex on, and his $500 pair of Italian sandals or whatever. But on the day of the Lord, the EMP hits, his little laptop with his millions and his portfolios that he's watching every day, they're gone. He don't have nothing. You don't think he'll be weeping and howling on that day? Oh, yes, he will. Because he hasn't got nothing. And everything he's got's not accessible. Your cash in the bank, all the money in the financial institutions, it'll be gone on that day. Smartest thing you do now is spend your money, to get what you really want. What do people really want? Every day they take money out of their pocket and they buy food. Food is what people want every single day. Go get all the food you can, stock it up. Even saw one evening on the evening news an armed guard at the docks in Rio de Janeiro holding an assault-looking weapon with a big clip on it. And the reporters got a microphone saying, "What are you doing down here at the docks? We don't need anyone at the docks. It's the end of the day." And the guard says, "I've been contacted by the dock workers. During the day, they're shipping out large quantities of beans. It's bean harvest time in Brazil, but in my country," he said, "beans are the same as cash. When they quit and go home, I got to guard these beans all night because beans are the same as cash." Figured out. And there's no money in the banks. Nobody's got any food. The grocery store shelves are all empty. The Isaiah 33 verses about highways are deserted. No travelers on the road. I go, when you see all that, let me tell you something. A man with 10,000 pounds of beans will be better off than a man with $10,000 worth of Federal Reserve notes, pieces of paper. The man with those beans, he could get anybody, any hungry man, will be at his door saying, "Is there anything you want me to do? I'll do anything you ask. I just need a couple pounds of beans." That's actually described in Revelation 6, the third horse. It'll be a day's wages for a quart of wheat. People will work for food when they're hungry, and people are going to be hungry. Food's going to be scarce. The Bible's full of all this knowledge and understanding. Good thing to have. Stock up. Be prepared. I'm the Bible prepper, and I'm telling you, it's time to prepare. It's running out. We're running out of time. Thanks for checking in. Share this information with your friends. God's word says, "My people perish for lack of knowledge." You want to know what's coming. Thanks for watching. That was 12 minutes.